How much money should exist on Mars, and how does answering this question impact how we think about economics on Earth? I want to talk about three aspects of this. One, population. Two, infrastructure. And three, the environment. Consider two scenarios. The first, 10 astronauts, highly trained and mission-oriented, arrive on Mars and are charged with establishing society. The second, 1 million retirement-oriented individuals arrive on Mars and are charged with establishing society. In the first scenario, you don't need any money. The astronauts simply focus on the mission and establish society. In the second scenario, with 1 million retirement-oriented people, money needs to exist to do things like effectively allocate resources, negotiate, incentivize, disincentivize, and ultimately create a functional society. If you consider these two scenarios in the context of infrastructure, there's obviously more infrastructure necessary for 1 million people than there is for 10 people, but also there's different infrastructure required for 1 million users versus 10 highly trained, mission-oriented individuals. Then if we go one step further and apply these two scenarios to the context of the environment, there are also major differences in how we might create and allocate money. If it's 10 astronauts, mission-oriented, charged with geoengineering and maintaining a habitable planet on Mars, that's very different when compared to 1 million individuals focused on enjoying their retirement and using the resources on Mars. Okay, so if we put all this together and visualize a spectrum, on one end we have a small mission-oriented population with high-performing infrastructure focused on maintaining a habitable planet. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have a large retirement-oriented population with low-performing infrastructure and a neglected environment. So if you draw that spectrum on a piece of paper, which end of the spectrum would you create more money for? Which society, I just described two societies, which one of those would you create more money at the outset for? So in thinking about the two ends of that spectrum, it is clear that one end of the spectrum requires less money to operate society, and the other end of the spectrum requires more money to operate society. What this thought exercise illuminates is that quantity and quality of population, infrastructure, and the environment impact how much money is necessary to operate society. So if we apply that to economics on Earth, that will give us an indication of how much money needs to exist to operate our current society. Instead of thinking about money in terms of crypto or gold or fiat, we should consider basing our monetary system on the physical environment, the number of people that exist on our planet, and the infrastructure that we create. If this is intriguing to you, please check out my book, Martian Economics, and let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you next time.